So our next speaker, I don't even know how or why, we were connected on Facebook, and you start seeing them pop up, and you're like, I know I'm connected, I'm not sure why, but that guy is saying something that I really like and really resonates, and he keeps popping up and keeps popping up, and all of his posts, they're inspirational and, almost divine in many ways. And I said, what's this going? And then you start to follow people. That's the power of connection. That's the power of making sure that you're seeing who you're around and connecting. And then being able to see and meet them in person adds a whole different element. So our next presenter, Mr. Nissan Trotter. This is probably, I spoke with him in person for the first time. I think the countdown was like 3.5 minutes. And I said, what's your why? Why do you wake up and do this? He has 2 Fit Body boot camps in Pennsylvania and a Fit Body Forever. And I said, what's your why? Why do you do this day? And he said, to make as much of a profound, and not so many words, but as much of a profound impact on the people who are close to me. And of that 3 minutes, I think he mostly spent talking about his 2 kids, his wife. If you read his bio, half of it is about the things that are closest and most important to him. And at the end of the day, so much of what we do is for that why, right? The mechanics is just the product that we're serving. So I know Nisan, he's going to be talking today about revenue and business, but there's no doubt you will leave inspired. His book's going to be available this weekend, so another way to be inspired. He's speaking tomorrow morning, I believe, as well. So without further ado, Mr. Nissan Trotter.
Good afternoon, everyone. Very excited to be presenting at FAI Summit for the very first time. And this content on today certainly will not be how to do the 80-20% hip hinge or the proprioception of the body, all those good things. I'm more of along the lines of, Mrs. Jones, just make sure you grab good challenging weight. You're going to put that over your shoulders and lift as fast as you can until it burns. But I do believe that this is going to serve you very, very well because this is content-driven. How to add $100,000 in training revenue in a small town of only 5,000 people. And I will first start off with my ignorance. Ignorance is a lack of knowledge or information, and I'm not too ashamed to share with you that whenever Dan and Cody would get up at events and start to speak about FAI and Fit Body Forever, I left the room, I ignored them, I gave them the deaf ear because in all honesty, I didn't want to train old people. That was my thought. Ignorance, right? My thought was also that it was going to be slow and boring, and it just wasn't going to be something that I really enjoyed. So I turned a deaf ear to it. And we decided instead to expand and go for location number 2 at the time and operate in a sports complex in a place called Williamsport, PA, where the Little League World Series is played. And we actually ended up having to close our doors to that because it flopped. And it was very humbling. At a mastermind meeting, I was told that we need to do Fit Body Forever in our only standalone location. I did not want to hear that, but I learned my lesson from that experience. And so now, here are some of the lessons that I learned. That you got to keep an open mind. I want all of you to keep an open mind, especially to Fit Body Forever, the program that is, if you are not involved with that. How many of you are involved with that by show of hands? Okay, great. So this content will hopefully still be very good for you. And for those of you who are considering it, I want you to keep an open mind and then listen to advice sooner. I'm telling you, if I would have listened to advice sooner in terms of being involved with FAI and Fit Body Forever, I really believe at this stage in the game, we would have now doubled our revenue easily. And then also double our impact. The third thing, take massive action. After this presentation, your goal is going to be to take massive action. And to get to $100,000 in revenue, generating that within your first year, believe it or not, it may sound difficult, it may sound challenging, especially for the demographic and the population, but I'm telling you, it is not as challenging as you're going to be able to witness through this presentation. So are you ready for that? It's so hard to get into this, especially when it's so content-driven. because I'm a motivational speaker. I speak with a lot of inspiration and passion. By show of hands, anybody ever heard me present at FBS or places like that? So you know how I roll then. But I'm going to try to scale it down a little bit to really make sure that content is rich on this one presentation. So, the wow factor. This is the wow factor, that within the first 30 days of our doors opening with Fit Body Forever, we secured $50,000 in revenue and welcomed 40 new members. That's the wow factor. And I don't want to gloss over this slide, especially because I want you to notice that these were session times and clients that existed in our area that could fill those session times that currently we just weren't, quite frankly, taking advantage of. So before this time, our impact wasn't quite as big, and certainly our business wasn't quite as strong. But within 30 days, everybody say 30. Within 30 days, things changed around for us, and we were able to secure $50,000 in revenue as we welcome 40 new members to our program. That's the wow factor. Say wow. Go ahead. Come on. Yeah. The process. Now let's talk about the process in terms of what it took to get to this position. Because again, we can talk about how client A must use trunk rotation and how they must make sure that their rhomboid muscles are engaged in the lift that they're doing. But if you don't have clients in your program to actually do those things, let's be honest, how much does that really matter? Because the walls don't do those things. The floor doesn't do those things. The dumbbells certainly don't either. So here's where we started out in terms of the process. We segmented our email list and grew it from 150 emails to 450 emails. I really believe that your goal should be to try to start building an email list specifically for this demographic of ages 55 and up with roughly about 500 emails. And so we took our Zen Planner, or you can take your Constant Contact. We took also our Fit Pro newsletter, and I'll give you an email subject line to go ahead and start to segment that list already. Hey, this is only for those age 55. And then put in parentheses, do not read if it doesn't apply. And of course, everybody is going to open that up. That's going to be the goal. And then you just simply ask the question in the body of the email, are you within the ages of age 55 or to 75, 85? If so, just let me know because I'll have something special waiting for you. And then you'll automatically know how to segment your current email list. Does that make sense? If it makes sense, say makes sense. Makes sense. Okay, good. For about the 50% of you. The other 50%, what's wrong? That's the simple process right there. And then we made sure that our entire team got FAI certified, even our assistant, because we wanted complete buy-in. I would also encourage that, especially for the baby boomer population. They want to make sure that whoever is training them knows what they're doing. They are very much, they're also known as information gatherers. They want to know that whoever is working with them, that they're certified, that they're professional, that they know their craft, and that they can truly help them. And then what we did is with those certifications that we actually received from Dr. Dan and Cody, we put those in the frame and we put them in the office that I would eventually sit down in front of client A, Mrs. Jones, to sell them. Because as soon as they sit down in that seat, their eyes are going to go directly towards scanning the room, and you want to make sure that you are already selling them that you are the person for the job just with the certification alone. Then we ran the Facebook ad survey to get more opt-ins. We're going to go into detail about that a little bit later, but suffice it to say that we use local zip codes. Now, I say we because this is not my sphere of influence. This is not my scope of practice, if you will. Thankfully, my lovely wife, who is truly the MVP of our program, who is here today, helped set up all of this. And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you to give her a hand clap of praise for the awesome job she does. Jarella's right there. Wave your hand so the people can see you. There you go. So she organized our Facebook ad campaign. We targeted ages 55 to 65. And here's the interesting thing about this I want you to take note of. Especially when it comes to fitness, you will stand out among, quote unquote, your competitors when you target this group, because the baby boomer population specifically don't have ads that speak to them on Facebook. So you'll get more opt-ins, especially when you run ads on Facebook for fitness for the baby boomer population, because they just don't have ads that speak to their needs, especially as it concerns fitness. And that's an important point to note, that you're pretty much not gonna waste any dollars with Facebook ads to baby boomers, especially once you get them to sit in front of you, because the close percentage for them is astronomically high. All right, and so this is the survey. We're gonna come back to that, and I'm gonna break that down to you in a little bit more detail in terms of the value of it and why it's structured the way that it is. But we did this as a part of the process to funnel clients into our program. And prior to that time, even in running the survey, I did an interview with Dr. Dan Ritchie, because baby boomers love to hear the word doctor, of course. And so what we did with this YouTube video, this video that we recorded, we put it on YouTube, we put it on Facebook, we put it on our personal profiles. We made a Fit Body Forever Facebook group as well, page that is. And what better way to talk about the glory of this program than to have the actual founder of it be able to talk in grave detail about it. So I literally asked him 5 questions. I would encourage you to go to Trot Fitness and type in the header right there and just steal the questions that I asked him. Get on an interview with him and make sure that your clients and everyone that you're trying to target watches this video. Because again, ABC, somebody finish that for me. Always, oh boy, we're in trouble. Always be closing. Oh, come on, y'all. I'm telling you, you can have your clients do a whole bunch of push-ups and sit-ups and all these things, but if you are not closing them and getting them into your program, you can have the great information on the face of the planet, the greatest information that is, but if you're not funneling them into your program, what does it matter, okay? And so this is something very important that I would encourage you to do. Then here's the survey response. This is the importance of making sure that you have a process in place for the massive amounts of survey responses by which client will fill out. How you get them to fill this out is we actually offer 3 trial sessions for our program. So just for filling the survey out, they got 3 trial sessions. But the criteria that they had to meet in order for us to get on a phone call with them is basically they had to have the willingness to pay, the ability to pay, which I'll break that down in the survey. We'll go back to that in a little bit. They also had to have the motivation and have a high determination. But then, of course, they needed to make sure that the session times that we were offering fit with their schedule. Because if there was a conflict in just simply the schedule alone, then it was going to be difficult to train that client. And I'm also going to go over the amazing phone script that I designed so that when we got over the phone with the prospective client, it was pretty much, I would kid you not, probably about a 70 to 80% close rate from the simple standpoint of once they picked up the phone and listened to the script, they were going to come through our doors and sit down for a consultation. So I decided I was going to teach you that process as well because I think that it's going to be very valuable for you to learn how to do that. All right, but let's go back to the survey real quickly to break a couple of things down. So you want to look into your schedule at the opportunities you have available to train these clients. We knew that there was gaps in our training schedule by which the studio was just empty. And these were dollars, if you think about it, walking out the door. These were bodies that we weren't training to have a significant impact on. And so we listed our times and the sessions that they thought would work best with their schedule. And whenever they chose the session time that worked best for them, whenever their motivation, remember because I told you determination is important, whenever their motivation was at a 10, and certainly whenever they said that I have the budget to be able to pay for $15 to $20 per session 2 to 3 times per week, you better believe, as we were watching, and it was particularly me at this stage in the game, and my assistant sometimes too, as we were seeing these survey responses come in, It literally took us roughly about 2 to 5 minutes to follow up with that person, with that individual. We set a goal to not wait any longer than 24 hours reaching out to that person. Here it is, get ready for it, via phone. That's right. Old school, phone call. Around 12 p.m., what? Say what? You mean that works? That still works today? Yes, it works. Because these are not cold calls. These are warm leads. These are people saying, I need your help. And especially when they meet the criteria that you're looking for, you better believe when you follow up with them in a timely manner, within that 2 to 4 minute period of time, I'm going to challenge you to do that. Watch when you follow this script that I'm getting ready to teach you, how you're going to get them coming through your doors and you'll be closing them within 30 minutes. By the time we open up our Fit Body Forever program, we had right at 30 clients who were at our grand opening, paid clients who already signed the deal for 12-month memberships. Would you like that, or is this exciting to anybody in here? I mean, just like, okay, I don't know if this is meeting you right where you are. All right, but now here's the phone script. This is the golden script. This is the golden script, and so I'm not very profound at PowerPoint, but my wife, you notice she put it in gold for me. She put it in gold. This is the golden script right here, and I became so proficient at saying this and dialing and making phone calls that I would use voice inflection. I knew how to really make sure to finagle it in a way that would keep that person on the phone. You want to practice this. Hey, Mrs. Jones. This is Nissan Trotter, the co-owner of Fit Body Forever. Thank you so much for expressing interest in our program. Do you have a brief second, or did I catch you at a bad time? Most of the time, especially when you're calling someone around that time period of 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., they have the time. So you still do that and offer courtesy. But then once they say, yes, I do, here's the point that I want to stress. We would like to bring you in for an interview. The reason why I decided to put those words in there, bring you in, because in their mind, especially this population, they may think, we're going to send a limo to your house, pick you up nice, we're going to roll out the red carpet for you. Because we truthfully want to bring you in, and it's selective, it's exclusive, right, in a way. We want to bring you in for an interview to share program details, talk about your health history, and make sure this is a safe program for you. The reason why this is important is because Fit Body Forever especially meets the gap. What I mean by that is there's either programs that are too intense, or there's programs like No Bash to Silver Sneakers or anything like that. But a lot of clients, this population, feel like they can do more than sit in chairs and squeeze balls. So and I'm being honest. These are some of the things that I'm sharing with them. But still, Mrs. Jones, what we want to do is make sure that this is the right fit for you. And we need to know your health history so that we can ensure that this is a safe program for you. And then because you've positioned yourself in a way that maybe you have an assistant, this is what baby boomers like to, because I have literally studied this population to know how to speak to where they are. And they love this point too. May my assistant schedule us for a 30-minute meeting. I'm not even going to schedule it for you, but I'm going to pass this off to my assistant, and trust me, she's even more nice than I am. And they love that. They love that process. I kid you not, 80% of the time, within especially that 2 to 5 minute period of time, this phone script worked. They would come in, and then we would sit down for the consultation questions. I've structured these questions in a way that it's worked for me a lot over the years. We're going on 7 years doing this, and these questions still remain powerful. I'll just share very briefly why I ask these type of questions, and I think that you would find value in this too. Mrs. Jones, have you ever worked with a fitness professional before? By the way, I'll just give you a couple other details real quickly. So even before Mrs. Jones comes through the door, my assistant will have a water bottle at the front desk with a little tag with their name written on that water bottle. So that already out the gate, we're engaging in what's called the law of reciprocity. Don't have time to go into those details, but just do that, it'll help, okay? We hand them the water, then I bring Mrs. Jones in, I sit her down, and I'll say I'll be right back. Do you mind if I go to the restroom really quickly? Of course, no one says no to that. I want you to go ahead and meet with me. They always say yes. I've already got my first yes out of the way, okay? Because ABC means what? Come on, y'all. I know it's late, but ABC means what? Always be closing. All right, so then I leave the bathroom, and systematically, I do this in my head all the time because I've already pre-closed this person even before I presented the offer. So I go into the bathroom, and then I'm doing I box. You know, I bounce up and down a little bit, literally. And my assistant, my wife, especially when they're working in the studio and they know I'm leaving the office, they just look at me and they're like, there he goes again. But I'm getting in mode that I must make sure that this person becomes a client because we have the opportunity to transform their life. And so I do this little motion, I do the little shoulder shrug, blow my kiss to God, and then I'm back into the office. Now, by this time, I already know that Mrs. Jones has seen that I'm the Personal Trainer of the Year award because it's positioned right in her peripheral. She already knows that we've transformed a boatload of clients because she sees all the transformations on the behind me, behind my desk. She also, of course, sees that not just me, but our entire team is certified, so she won't just be working with me, but 3 or 4 other members on our team. And then I ask, have you ever worked with a fitness professional before? Just simply because it's so important for them to understand, to use the words of Colin, that nowadays baby boomers understand that it's far more about services than it is goods and luxury products. And so professional services matter to them. Are you currently active? What are your goals? And I believe it's a misconception to think that baby boomers in particular, all they want is to be healthy enough to play with their grandchildren. They also want to be healthy and fit enough to even see certain body parts that they don't like, quote unquote, what they would even consider problem areas, see them transform and change. So I even ask them, what 2 areas of your body do you want to see change the most? I ask them, is your spouse supportive of the healthy changes you're trying to make? Generally, that question is yes, and then the reason why I follow that up, once they say yes, I say good, because sometimes that is a barrier to helping clients reach their results. When their spouse is like, oh my gosh, you're going there again. You know, that's gonna be hard to overcome, especially because we're gonna present challenges in our program. On a scale of 1 to 10, how determined are you to reach your fitness goals, etc.? Those things matter. Here are the next set of questions that I ask that are certainly noteworthy. I already mentioned one of them. What 2 areas of your body do you want to see change the most? And then psychologically, again, this is what they'll happen. Well, this is what they'll do. Oh, I can't get rid of this thing right here. And what you're going to do, you're going to take your time. You're going to digest that, no pun intended, and look at that area, and you're writing that down. I have my notepad out, and I'm literally writing down their responses to their questions because, again, this is an interview. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you rate your current fitness level? Now, of course, this probably isn't going to be the highest number, but again, that's why you're here, so that you'll be able to tell them when they mention that low number that I'm going to be able to help improve that number over time. That's huge, because if you're not solving their problems, they're probably not going to sign on the dotted line. Or if you're not confident in doing that, they're probably not going to become a paying client that is getting great results in your program. And then I say, why do these goals matter to you? It's the big why question, right? I'm sure many of you have used these in your consultations before as well, but why matters. Okay, and they're different what I call why factors. I don't have time to go through it. But literally every question, I follow up with about 2 to 3 quick sentences to every question that I ask that leads to the close. This is important for you to know because, trust me, the traffic is going to come through your business through doing these Facebook ad surveys. And then once they sit down in front of you, it's going to be so important for you to be able to work on your close. The quality of living factor. That's a why factor. The occupational factor, Nisan. I feel like I'm the biggest hypocrite of them all because I'm a nurse in my field. And I'm not doing the things that I'm trying to prescribe to my clients, so they come through our doors because they don't look the part given their occupation. Are you following me here? Does this make sense? There's other factors as well, what I call the family factor. Nisan, I got down on the ground to play with my granddaughter, and then she seen me struggle to get back up, and she said, Mimi, you're just not the same anymore. And I love all your transformations, Nisan, but let me tell you, the only reason why I'm here is because of my grandbaby. Now you have positioned yourself as a person to be able to help with that problem. And then the other questions that you can read on your own. All right? The next thing that we do is we try to make sure that we're adding value through what we call our client notebook process, our movement screening or mobility screening process, and our health history questionnaire. Thankfully, these forms are provided by Fit Body Forever, but we, in particular, these tests right here, we do, and I mentioned this in the consultation because I want them to understand that we're gonna know how to work with you even before you come through the doors. And we structure our program in a way to where we're meeting your needs. So our mobility screening, which yours can be different, consists of understanding if Mrs. Jones can get off the ground or not. We have the 8-foot up and go test that we do. We have the sit up and stand. We have the tandem walk test, the shoulder internal, external rotation. Is the client able to touch their toes? And even before they get involved with the mobility screening, and I tell them that this is what we're gonna do and this is what makes us special and why you need to work with us, that's so much more added value than a client in this population going to a box gym, and you know where I'm getting ready to go, just being shown the equipment and then left to their own devices. Mrs. Jones, even before we get into that, we're gonna do a mobility screening with you. All right? And so once the closed process takes place, I want to kind of teach you some of the things that we've done, again, to where before our doors ever, before clients ever walked through our doors and actually started training, they already signed full-time agreements with us. They get 3 trial workouts with us when they fill out the survey. They sit down with me and I meet with them. But then here is how anxious they are to finally work with someone who knows what they're doing and they're able to meet their needs, is that they bypass the 3 trial sessions, especially when you say, if you sign up today, you'll be able to do the 14-day money-back guarantee. You're gonna ensure that these are the rates that we offer, you're gonna lock those in. Follow me here, but if you don't like what the service that we're providing within this 14-day period of time, you can cancel the agreement. It will not go into effect. That client within a 14-day period of time will have done either 4 to 6 workouts within that period of time. Plenty enough time for them to assess if you are the person for them. Of course, your goal is to over-deliver on their experiences so that when they sign up, it's a no-brainer. And all they need are 2 options. Now, our price points that help us generate, again, $100,000 over the course of a year, literally we're pretty much at a year at this, to this month, was $147 for 7 months or 11 months for 2 times a week, or $167 for 7 months or 11 months for 3 times per week. And those options were perfect for them. And here is the uniqueness of our program, is every time I signed up, I think her name is Jan, so let's just say Mrs. Jan right there. I signed her up, and as soon as I signed her up, this was the process. They would come outside my office, we would do the hands up like a champ. In fact, that's the shirt that I'm wearing right there. It says hands up like a champ. And we would then make sure that we tagged her in the Facebook photo so all her friends seen it. And I would make sure that I ended with, we're so excited to be working with Jan. She's finally going to be able to take control of her health and fitness. Hands up like a champ. How many times do you see baby boomers in this particular instance being celebrated for a healthy decision they're making for their bodies? for their families. And they'll get a whole bunch of likes and comments, and of course, you're liking the comments, you're following up to the comments, and then you're gaining momentum in your program. And literally, I kid you not, I believe that I got on people's nerves. If you remember during this time period, Dr. Dan, I got on people's nerves with every time, and literally we were closing sometimes 4 and 5 people a day, another photo goes up, and now the whole town, especially when there's only 5,000 people, the whole town feels like the whole town is training with us. And that's how you want it to feel, okay? And then, we do there's great family here. You see the hugs, you see the smiles, you see the camaraderie. Miss Elaine, this lady right here, 86 years old, I wrote an email about her. By the way, you should be, once you build your email list up, you should be emailing them roughly about 2 times a week. And I wrote an email on her about her 15-year plan. At 86 years old, she says, Nisan, I know I have to do your program. I said, why? She said, because in order to make it to 100 years old, I got to be healthier. I got to be stronger. Talk about leveraging that. We leverage the heck out of that story. Because we know that some people are just afraid, but if Miss Elaine at 86 years old can do it, so can anybody else. And then you're looking at someone right there, Mr. Ralph Varner. He dropped 25 pounds in our program at age 75. So no longer is there a myth about baby boomers not getting great results and they're over the hill and too old, those things. We are debunking all of those myths. And here is all these clients right here, folks that I've never really met before unless they came in for their actual consultation with me. So that was my first time meeting with them. But after that, that was the orientation of 30 new clients. And it's true when you follow the process. I wish I had more information to give y'all. But that's pretty much it. That's how we were able to do what we've done at this particular point in time. So here are our ideas for continued growth. And I'm 10 minutes early. Yes. So y'all can ask questions if you want, or I'll get out the way so that we can get the day going on with finishing up with Dr. Dan. But this photo right here is a lunch and learn. Let me go back. This is a lunch and learn that we did. And what's really cool about it, this is an idea that you can take on, is we ask clients who are in our Fit Body Forever program to invite their friends. We're going to treat them to lunch. And we're also going to give them an awesome presentation and be highly entertaining. And we made sure to give away awesome giveaways. It's worth it because almost every new person in that room who sat down at our lunch and learn, they then became full-time clients. That's our offline strategy, and we got to do more of those. I'm being honest with you. I love where we are with our program. But if I'm to be 100% honest with you, this was relatively easy for us. In a town of 5,000 with other fitness outlets. It's been relatively easy for us, and that kind of almost tears me down inside a little bit, because I know if we give more effort into the program, if we nurtured our Fit Body program more, there's nothing that would not suggest that we should be at around 120, 150 Fit Body Forever clients. I'm not kidding you. We are going to restart rerunning our ads again. Because as we started doing this presentation, my wife and I, because I'm not very good at technology, so she always does the presentation. So I was thinking to myself, we both were thinking, we need to get back on the ball rolling with this again. Why aren't we nurturing this program even more? And so challenges are what we're going to be doing, and all other type of things to grow our program and to continue to make a tremendous impact. That needs to be number one for you, by the way. Yes, the dollars and cents matter, but your impact matters as well. Finally, so this is what I'm taking on. This quote by Yvonne Dowling. She said, as you grow older, if you don't move, you won't move. And so it's incumbent upon me as the leader of our team, of our programs, of our studios, to make sure that I am throwing it out there right now. You are my social accountability. That by this time next year, our program will have doubled in that one location, because the same things that got us where we are right now, I know that we need to revisit them, but we also have some other strategies that we can employ. I want you to be along this journey with me as well. I know all of you are amazing in terms of your craft. Now it's time for people to start to experience that with working with you in volume, and your impact will grow. So that is not my time. I'm well ahead of schedule, but thank you for your time. Do y'all have any questions or anything like that you'd like to ask? I was gonna just open it up for Q&A. And if you wanna give me a round of applause, you can too. Yeah.
If you have questions,
No
please
questions?
come up to the microphones and
You
we'll
just
go
come
that
to
way.
the
That way
mic.
everybody can hear.
Yeah. How you doing?
Hi, Nisan. I always have questions.
Okay,
Just ask my crew over there.
I'm nervous.
Okay, so, the big guys back there, they want us doing the 5% that moves our business forward. You're a business owner, right?
Yes.
So you're doing the 5% that moves your business forward.
Yes.
So you did all 30 of those interviews, 30 minutes, individual? You didn't put them together ever?
I didn't put them together.
You didn't
What do
put them together as a group orientation?
I did not.
Snap.
Yeah, because that's my 5% though. Selling and marketing is in my 5%.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Okay.
I met with them individually. I did have help in terms of setting up because one of my pet peeve number 347 actually, is scheduling things. So I don't schedule, but I definitely meet with them in person. And really, it only takes 30 minutes to close them, really.
Yeah, okay. And so this is probably one question with 3 parts. So the second part is, so you close them on a 7 or 11 long-term agreement
Yeah.
in that orientation?
Haven't never tried the program before either.
Okay, that is way cool. I don't have a third part. Thank you.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I just wondered if you incorporate a nutrition program with this?
Absolutely. So within that time of them meeting with us, and I don't know how much information is proprietary. That's why I didn't share, other things that we do in terms of closing them and the charts and all of that we learned from being in Fit Body Forever. But we do provide them with a food guide and nutrition. Absolutely. That's how they get their results.
Hey, you said you emailed your clients twice a week. What would you email them?
Well, they provide a PDF document called Ageless Fitness. The PDF document called Ageless Fitness in the Fit Body Forever program. We read through that, and I just didn't come up with the content, but our lead exercise programmer wrote those emails, and we just pretty much carbon copied that information and made it into our own. Yes. Hey, Kathy.
Hey, Nisan.
Yeah. How you doing?
I'm good. I did exactly what Nisan did. I own 2 Fit Body boot camps, and I didn't really listen to Dan or Cody either. Yeah. And I opened my second location, which I still have and I'm working on. And I do have Fit Body Forever at both of my locations, really, really, really small. I find I end up weeding a lot of people out into my boot camp, which is a good thing too. Yeah. So I'm starting to now plan to target even higher, like maybe even 70 and up. But I think my question for you is, I get all revved up and I start getting on the ball and people are coming in and I'm growing it, and then I get totally sidetracked with my boot camps.
Right.
And it's and the first thing I do is I'm like, all right, Fit Body Forever has to wait. I'm sure it's happened to you,
yep.
But how do you control it? Because that's where I struggle the most. I've talked to Dan about this so many times.
How we mitigate that is by making sure a portion of the responsibility is on our team. So as I mentioned to the gentleman, I don't necessarily write all the email content. Our team is doing some of that, taking some of that on as we entrust them with that. I'm gonna continue to get on the ball with making sure that, and I don't run the ads either. My wife does.
I don't either. Okay.
So I always say delegate it. Really try to make sure that you're on top of it, but you need to also have some system in place to where you're measuring your numbers and you're tracking your numbers, because that will always be a reminder that if you're not meeting your quota or your goals for that month, or if it doesn't look like you're going to reach it within that year, then you got to ante up a little bit.
Okay.
So make sure that you have something in place. So for instance, during our staff meetings, my wife shares the numbers in all of our programs and where clients are specifically. And so I know that if that number is not going up but down, I should be doing something to drive it back up.
Okay.
Yeah, because the numbers are the cold, hard facts.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. You got another one? We charging you this time.
I remembered the third part.
Okay.
Your lunch and learn. What's your topic?
Oh, I don't quite remember exactly the topic, but thankfully they provided the PowerPoint presentation, and we had tons of content. I just don't remember. I believe it was how to age
Oh, you're talking about Dan and Cody? Oh,
Yeah.
the community presentation.
Yeah,
Got it.
absolutely. The community presentation. The topic was how to age gracefully. I believe that was the topic, how to age gracefully. I got 3 minutes. Any other questions? Yes,
Okay, so you charge $147 a month or a week or what?
a month.
A month.
A month. And they've
Okay,
been
how many
encouraging
people
me-
do you have in your class then?
We had range anywhere from 8 to 16
Oh,
clients.
so it's a big class. You don't do any one-on-one or
Relatively
small
big.
group?
No one-on-one.
No small group.
Well, we consider 8 to 16 people small group.
Okay, and that many actually come in, 8 to 16 people?
Yeah, 8 to 16 clients. Yep. And they love it. And when it gets to about 16 clients, actually when it's over 11 clients, we have 2 trainers on the floor training them. So we don't ignore it when it gets big. We always feel that we can handle between 8 to 10 with one particular trainer. But if it exceeds 10 and it's 11 to 16, then we have 2 trainers on site.
So are they all at similar levels then, or are they all like different levels?
They're all at different levels, but we know how to work with them because of the movement screening.
Great.
Yeah,
Thanks.
and we modify based on that. Hey, if you really want to see me fired up and passionate, I want to encourage you to come to tomorrow's What Do Gifted People Do? I am absolutely thrilled to present on that subject matter alone. That's at 7:30 a.m. Rise and shine with me. And for those who actually come and are in attendance, I'm going to give away a free copy of my book as well called Born Gifted. So are there any other questions? It's going to be here, right? Right here in this room, okay? Hey, thank you so much for your time, everybody. You've been great.